The Pages preferences can be located by going to the Pages menu in the menu bar and choosing Preferences. You can also use the shortcut Command Comma. From here, there's a couple of different choices that can speed up your workflow and productivity, especially if you're doing things a little bit outside of the norm of what Apple intended Pages to be used for. Up at the top, you've got a choice for how new documents can be handled. You can show the template chooser, or if you're going to make, say, 20, 30 of the same document in a row or just all the time, you can actually choose the same template every time. So rather than get this choice when you start up Pages, it would actually just create a new blank document automatically, which can be kind of handy. You can set your default zoom level if you're using a laptop with a Retina display or some reason that you want to go outside of the norm of what the typical zoom level is at. These three editing choices can be pretty important because having it automatically detect lists can be a little annoying if you are the type of person who likes to customize their lists every single time. So if you're working with an outline, it can actually be a little difficult if it doesn't detect that it's an outline automatically and automatically indent the way you'd like. Whether you need to use bezier curves or not, that's up to you. There are curves with these 4 control points, and it sort of allows the curves to have a little bit more flexibility. You can choose whether or not the curves default to that. Show suggestions when editing table cells. Well, again, if you're using tables, sometimes the data you put into those tables is not going to be necessarily stuff that you want spell checked and grammar checked. So if you don't want to have those suggestions, it's a great way to turn it off so that anytime you're working in cells, you can use abbreviations and any types of letters you like. The invisible's color is what color the invisible objects like the paragraph return markers or tabs are going to show up as. If you want images automatically to be resized upon adding, you can check that box, and that can shrink your document size down a lot. And then you've got your author and your text size for comments and change tracking. There's only 2 tabs in the Preferences menu. If you go to the second one for the rulers, you'll see the default ruler units, inches, centimeters, or points. You can show the size and position when you're moving objects or choose not to do that. The origin at the center of the ruler can be handy. If you click it, you'll notice the center point becomes 0, and then to the left and right, you'll see how many inches away from the center you're moving. Displaying the ruler units as a percentage can also be handy, so you can see how far you are to filling up your entire page. And then finally, enabling a vertical ruler for documents with body text. So by default, you don't really have that because you're usually not that concerned about that. You're going to type, and then when it runs out of room, it'll flow the text onto the next page. But if you wish to see a vertical ruler, even when you have body text, you can go ahead and turn that on, and you'll see it appear there on the left side. Your alignment guides, you can choose what color they're going to be and whether they show up at the center or at the edges of objects as you move them. So these are your default settings that you can manipulate before you start working, and some of them may definitely save you a little time as you work in Pages.